In 2025, the global games market will top a massive $188.8 billion in revenue, driven by 3.6 billion players. But one company stands alone in its efficiency and dominance: Valve. As of November, a new report by the games market intelligence firm Alinea Analytics claims their Steam platform has already generated over $16.2 billion in revenue this year, easily surpassing their 2024 total of $15.3 billion. Now compare that to their estimated headcount of roughly 350 employees. That's an implied gross platform sales revenue per employee approaching $50 million per person, a metric that doesn't just beat tech giants like Apple or Google, it absolutely demolishes them. Valve is a money printing machine unlike any other in the world, and it does it without a CEO, without managers, and with a business model that is the envy of the entire industry. This is the $16.2 billion secret of how Valve became ultra successful and why its dominance is only getting stronger. The first and most obvious part of the secret is the Steam platform itself. The PC gaming segment is projected to generate $39.9 billion this year, and Steam is estimated to have a market share of approximately 74 to 75% of global distribution, but really just comes down to their great service for players, which is why the only people who complain about Valve's dominance is mainly just game devs who aren't able to get a piece of Valve's pie. And this dominance in the market is the foundation of their cash flow. It's what makes Valve different from any other game developer. Valve's entire business is built on a simple yet incredibly powerful 30% platform cut, in exchange for tons of features developers would want and need when publishing games. For every game sale, every skin, every microtransaction, Valve takes a 30% commission, though this can scale down to 20% for the largest titles. This system is so lucrative that the company itself has earned over $4 billion from Steam commissions and their own titles in 2025 alone. They don't have to build 97% of the content, they just have to provide the infrastructure and collect their massive share. As of 2021, the entire Steam platform was run by a dedicated team of just 79 employees. Think about that, with reported gross margins reaching as high as 80%. This is a financial leverage unlike anything else you will see in tech. And this is where the contrast with competitors like the Epic Game Store becomes shocking. Despite Epic's developer-friendly 88 to 12% split and their aggressive strategy of giving away hundreds of free games to build a user base of nearly 300 million registered users, Epic Game Store captured only 3% of third-party revenue in 2024, because anyone unironically using the Epic Store would just do so to snag free games or to play Fortnite. Steam's 132 million monthly active users are consistently paying customers, while Epic's large registered user base has simply failed to convert into consistent players. The network effect on Steam, the friends list, the library, the community features is what truly locks users in, ensuring their dominance is virtually unshakable. In Valve's antitrust lawsuit, Ubisoft, Microsoft, Epic, and a few others were required to share confidential details about their gaming platform strategies and how they all failed to compete with Steam, which coincidentally they wanted to hide these details or else it would hurt their shareholders. The critics of Steam, mainly those developers who are filing the lawsuits, often say Valve doesn't do enough to improve the platform, but the company's continuous work on Steam's quality of life features is the real key to player retention. The secret to their market share isn't just that they were the first, it's that they are constantly iterating on making Steam better. The company runs a Steam beta and also Steam Labs, which are programs specifically meant to roll out experimental features. For instance, they recently introduced the personal calendar feature, which helps users track upcoming games, wishlist titles, and new releases based on their play activity. This eliminates the need for players to manually search for new titles, keeping them deep inside the Steam ecosystem. Even more critical for Valve's revenue stream is their discovery engine. Valve continually refines its recommendation system like the interactive recommender, a machine learning tool that suggests games based on a user's playtime history and some other data. Moving beyond beyond just the basic tag system. This is a crucial feature because in a market with over 10,000 games released annually, discoverability is everything. By testing different algorithms, they've seen successful changes lead to a 15% increase in click-through rates for recommendations and a massive 75% increase in the number of unique games visited in those sections. Better discovery means more game sales, which means more 30% cuts for Valve, and more importantly, a better incentive for smaller game developers to use Steam. This is where the leaked court documents come back into play. The fact that only 79 employees manage all of this, the sales, the security, the networking, and these constant updates, is only possible because of their famous flat hierarchy. Because it's not like they need to go through multiple chains of command just to get approval to work on one feature. This is the part that allows the $16.2 billion platform revenue to translate into a massive $48.6 million in gross platform sales per employee. To put that into perspective, the $1.3 million average salary, yes, that is the estimated average employee compensation at Valve. This is a direct result of Valve's efficiency. Their profitability per employee is exponentially higher than Meta or Apple. The only real competitor Valve has is OnlyFans, so take that as you will.
And we tend to make people very productive and they add a lot of value. So if you look at Apple or Google or Microsoft, we have much higher revenue and profitability per employee than they do.
Now you might be wondering, how do they actually do this? And the secret is their private ownership and flat hierarchy. Because Valve is a privately held company, they are not beholden to shareholders or the quarter-to-quarter financial reporting demanded of public companies.
Being a publicly traded company adds a bunch of headaches, and it didn't really solve any problems for us, right? It meant that control around decision making now involved third parties. So for a developer or somebody building something at Valve, it's like there's the customer and they're the person that you're trying to make happy. And from the time that you make a change in a product, it's 15 minutes, worst case, before a customer is actually using that.
They don't face the relentless pressure for infinite growth that forces other firms to make short-sighted, anti-consumer decisions. This freedom allows Valve to play the long game. They can invest hundreds of millions into risky research and development projects like VR or the Steam Deck, knowing the massive cash flow from Steam will cover it, and the investment will ultimately strengthen the overall ecosystem, which is their true focus.
We're always concerned about what we need to do next and how we're evolving and what are the new challenges. So we don't spend a lot of time, like we do postmortems and an analysis, but it's always perspective. Like, okay, so how does that change stuff? So I'll spend time like thinking about Artifact and why Artifact ended up being a disappointment. And that's actually way more useful than thinking about the impact we had on the industry. One is likely to help us make better decisions in the future, and the other is less useful.
Valve is also famously boss-free, operating on a flat, self-managed hierarchy where employees are encouraged to vote with their wheels and literally move their desks to projects they feel are most valuable. Although Valve's structure has slightly adjusted over the years, with some projects getting a higher priority as they need more hands on deck, the same philosophy still applies and ensures the company's limited talent pool, around 350 people, are constantly working on projects with maximum impact. Whether it's optimizing Steam features, maintaining their live service games like CS2, or developing their next piece of hardware or game. This is one of the things Valve and Gabe take a lot of pride in, that they always hire the best of the best, which is also why they don't mind paying their employees so much money.
And what we decided was that we were going to buy the most expensive talent that was out there in the world. That the opportunity was that those were the people who were least correctly valued. By talent, which is a word I hate, I just mean the ability to be productive.
But Valve isn't just resting on its 75% market share like you'd expect any other company would if they were in this position. Although the 75% is just estimated, it aligns right with dev reports saying Steam accounts for the majority of their revenue. The competitive landscape is evolving from a traditional console war into an ecosystem war, and Valve is making a major long-term strategic move: the announcement of the Steam Machine for 2026. It's a direct challenge to the console establishment, and it puts immense pressure on rivals like Xbox and PlayStation. Speaking of PlayStation, their own strategy of porting games to Steam has ironically fueled Valve's growth. PlayStation Studios have generated over $1.5 billion in gross revenue on the Steam platform. A simultaneous launch like Helldivers 2 was a phenomenal success, selling around 12.7 million copies and grossing $400 million on Steam alone. Now, Valve's success isn't just about the 30% cut, it's about their deep understanding of player data. So the $16.2 billion secret of Valve's ultra success is not just one thing, it's the perfect storm of the unshakable platform monopoly collecting a massive tax on the entire industry. So this is how Valve has turned into an ultra profitable revenue making machine that most other tech companies can't even compete with, making over $16 billion in revenue this year alone, which may be why we are seeing tons of people completely misframe Gabe Newell's new $500 million yacht, the Leviathan, which isn't really for him, but his marine research company Inkfish. And if you want to learn more about what Inkfish are finding, check out this video.